What, are we going to just allow the Little League to use for practice, or we're going to allow Vincent, who's one that's interested in practicing there?
You know what, the thing is,
Work out the schedule.
they need to get together and work, I mean, what they need. I can't.
Just like you worked out the schedule for games, you work out the schedule for practice.
I still haven't received the schedule for games, so I don't even know what the game is like.
Okay. This is Babe Ruth.
No, Little League. This is Little League.
On the Rodriguez Park?
Yes, this is Little League.
This is 11, 12-year-olds?
13, 14.
That's the only thing, that's Babe Ruth.
Let me stop everyone. Second for discussion or just second?
No, I'm second for the, only this year, yes, the motion was, David was on the motion.
I have a first and second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye. I'm not sure what the motion was. The motion was to allow for games and practice.
Yeah, this year.
I'm going to oppose it because I don't think that's going to work, and I think because we've got too many teams wanting, and it's going to open up, hey, how can they get the practice if we don't get the practice?
Let me just call for the question if I may. So I have oppose. Okay, motion.
Excuse me, can you let, what's your name?
I can't because I called for the motion. There was a motion, a second, so if anyone else wants to.
The only thing I want to comment, Nick, just like any field requires a little bit of time to recover. Now, that park recently passed, in the past, that's always been one of the best looking parks in, not only in Calexico, but in the valley. Now, if it's going to get the abuse by games and practices by all different leagues, then we're not going to have a very good looking ballpark.
That's correct.
You're going to have balls, you're going to be practicing with balls bouncing in all kinds of different directions. So if you're able to maintain the park in excellent condition, then that gives the baseballs a truer bounce to the field. Thank you.
Mayor, I move that we approve it for games only.
Second.
For discussion.
First and a second. Second for discussion.
I can second it for discussion.
Yeah, I'm not asking. I want to second it for discussion. Okay, first and second for discussion. So discussion. Okay. Just the procedure is like if someone calls for a motion and someone seconds it, but they don't second for discussion, I have to call for a vote. If they second for discussion, then I can let discussion.
I'm a coach for the Little League, and these past year, this is the first year that we had Little League juniors, ages 13, 14, and 15, and this would be the second year. So there's more teams. The problem we're having in our age group is that they've sent us to practice at Jefferson School. There's other Little Leaguers playing there, a soccer team from that school also playing there, and these kids are much older, 13 and 14-year-olds are much older, and they cannot practice together in a small field like that because it's dangerous. They can't have batting practice because they could hit another kid and injure them. So what we were asking for is the beginning of the season, there's like 3 weeks before games start, there's nobody using the field, not the high school, not Vincent, nobody else. There's only 3 teams from that age group that are in that category. We played throughout Ventura Valley, and there's no place to practice because we were taking turns practicing in Jefferson, but there were 3 teams, and there's other younger kids right there, so that's very dangerous. And there's no other schools with room, no other schools, and the other schools are T-ballers, and we can't combine practice with them. So in actuality, there was no practice field for us. We were taking turns over there in Jefferson. While other cities, I know because I know kids from other coaches from other cities. All the other cities are allowing their Little League juniors to practice in their Babe Ruth fields, and they alternate practices. But we're the only city that has 3 teams. The other cities have 2 teams or 1 team. And we were just asking permission to practice there in an alternate rotation with 3 teams while we're getting prepared for the season. When the games start, there's not going to be as many kids practicing in the schools because they're going to be in games, and our division is going to be having games, and some teams are going to be having games, so we could practice in Jefferson while the games are there. We would provide maintenance, on the teams. There's not going to be 3 teams in one field. We'd be rotating and taking care of the infield and all that, etc. That's all we're asking for. Time to practice because there's no fields. And regarding those drainage dishes, those drainage parks, I'm sorry, but those parks, I don't know if you've been out there. I mean, when any little rain that comes washes out all the oil and everything into those parks, and they stay wet for months. They stay wet for months. All that dirt and all that thing in the street gets washed off into there, and I don't want my kids playing in that oily field. You can see any of those, one of those fields, they're all full of oil and slush and contamination. Those parks are not kept up either.
Mosquitoes.
Hay mosquitos, pero aceite y lodo, and real bad. Those aren't really healthy parks.
Nick, what's happening with Rising Park? Why isn't that ready? Why? There was a comment said that wasn't going to be ready. Are we fixing that? Or we had said we were going to let the girls softball practice there so that they could all kind of consolidate into that particular park and leave open areas for other teams to practice?
Right now, paddle, girls softball, and soccer is utilizing Las Casitas. They have the same problem. They don't have enough areas to practice. However, they schedule their practices all concentrated in one area, which is Las Casitas. So they're conducting all their practices there at Las Casitas for all their softball teams and the soccer teams. And that's what they're doing. Like I spoke to Joe Carrillo, and he said, well, how about some backstops? I said, I don't have the funding for backstops. He said, well, what if I get you the backstops? If you're willing to contribute, I said, we can put them up in one of the retention basins or one of the parks, wherever you like. I said, I'm willing to provide the manpower for it. So we've been trying to work together.
No, but my question was specific to Joe Rising Field.
We got to get in there, and it's the same thing that happened with the rain. Salinity comes up and kills everything off. So we get that part into get some fresh dirt in there, and we make some gemstone in there in order to treat the dirt. It's not suitable.
But are we doing something about it? Because a comment was made that wasn't going to be ready. So that implies that we're doing something right now.
Basically, we're doing what we can with it. However, we don't have the funds to purchase the backstop for it.
What about the dirt? Do we have any lots that have dirt so we can put in some topsoil?
Well, we're looking for now. We can maybe get some dirt just out of the Zapata, the Cordova Park, where there's still some dirt on the south side of it that's pretty high. That we can pull dirt out of there and set it in.
Can we start moving on that?
I really don't get that, this whole argument about a park is for kids to play. Take off that fence and let them play, okay?
Which fence?
Take that, this is a park. The park's supposed to be for public. What
No,
are we
but
talking about? Whatever fence that is there, park, you're thinking about that. It's supposed to be open. But that would be a park. We all argue about keeping this all maintained and clean. It's not clean, it's not maintained. Well, we have it only games right now. So what's the point you're trying to make? It's park for the kids, let them play.
I don't have.
What are you keeping it? This is not the Petco Stadium in San Diego.
David, we're not letting them play. We're letting them play.
You're making a big deal. You're making a big deal out of this park that is for the kids, whether to play or to practice. Come on, this is just too much. It's park for the kids.
Don't confuse the issue, David.
I'm not confused. No, let me finish. I'm not confused. Well, hold on, let me finish. Nick Felling, you've got too much work to do in the city. Stay away from that park. City manager, you have too much of things going on, and you have an issue of park discussing half an hour. This is ridiculous. You have not been able to resolve such a simple issue, and it's gone publicly, where right now the community, you know what, they could have come with 500 kids and jumped this city hall, but they didn't want to go that way. They come here, the vice president, the vice president requesting the park for some practice. And you tell them, no, you're not going to practice in this game. That's ridiculous. Okay?
Now I let you finish, let me finish. The issue here is we don't have enough parks for people to play in. And the Little League is just one. We have Babe Ruth, Vincent, Mission, and